Hey, it's me, Destin. Welcome back to Smarter Every Day 2. This is the channel where I just upload anything that I find interesting. Recently, my buddy Gordon McGladdery, who does the audio here on Smarter Every Day, Gordon and I got to talking. He's like, man, I want to make a video game. It's an aquarium simulation thing, and we made it. It's called Fish Game. You can actually go get it. It's fish.game. That's the whole website. It's currently available on Steam. We have dreams to roll it out in other ways in the future, but that's where it's at right now. If you'd like to check it out, we'd love that. Play Fish Game, see what you think. Anyway, as a part of the research for how Fish Game was going to work, I wanted to go out to PAX, which is this big video game convention. A lot of really smart video game people are there. And I'm not like a hardcore gamer, but I got to learn so much about games that I thought it would be a pity not to show you all this stuff I learned, because it's amazing. So in this video, it's me going to PAX and learning about all the different stuff in video game culture, and it's fascinating. The thing I really want to focus on is gameplay and why video games are important to certain people and what you can learn from video games. I think it's interesting. So I hope you enjoy this video. I also hope you will consider downloading Fish Game and playing it. We made a game that we love, and the science is true and all this kind of stuff in the game. It's awesome, and I think you'll like it. Anyway, here's us going to PAX, and check it out. See that? So this is PAX, huh?
This is PAX.
Thanks for the tickets there, Gord.
Yeah, no problem.
What is PAX?
Penny Arcade Expo.
Okay.
Started by some popular dudes in the game scene quite a while ago. Okay. But now it's a trade show.
Okay. Turned into like a lot of people that like video games hang out kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So developers come and show their wares.
I'm digging the branding. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. How's it going, man? Are you the lanyard dude?
I'm the lanyard dude.
You got to watch all these, make sure nobody steals these things.
No, I'm actually trying to get as many.
Get rid of as many as possible.
I don't have to go back in the box.
That's great.
Take as many as you can handle.
And are these maps over here?
Yeah, maps as well. She don't want to deal with the app. I hear it's been having some issues.
Oh, Berserky's here. Love those guys. Brace Yourself is here if you want to go see Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Or Danny or whoever's going to be working that. What other pals do I have? I actually don't know which direction we're walking right now. Just walking towards the windows.
This is the guy holding the map. I'm just following. He's like, I don't even know where I'm going. I'm just reading the map. That's what they do in the movies, right? They just walk and read the map.
Just driving the car without looking at the road.
Yeah, this is what happens when you get Gordon and Destin together. We only interact via email. I think the last time I had a microphone on you, we were in the Amazon rainforest and you had a bunch of flies buzzing around your head.
That was the second to last time.
Oh, okay.
Last time you were blowing up a firecracker in front of my face inside a tomato.
That's right.
Yeah.
So Gordon makes sound for Smarter Every Day. His company is Shell in the Pit. They do all the slow-mo sound and all kinds of stuff, and we've been working together for the last, how many years? 3?
Just 3.
3 years on a video game that we're going to release. It's called Fish Game, which is going to be awesome. But we're here to learn about video games and what makes a good video game. Yeah, let's check it out. All right, what should we try to learn here?
My favorite part of the hall is probably the indie mega booth, because that's kind of the waters in which I swim.
Indie games.
Indie games, yeah.
And that's
indie
different from
mega
like Nintendo and stuff like that.
Yeah, the big stuff. Those are just, those are the people I know. Those are the things that we work on. That's the things I enjoy to play a lot of the time as well.
So independent games are a huge deal.
For me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, not for everybody.
Go over here.
We're just going to hit the main floor. I haven't hit the floor since last year, and I was real quick, so probably take me a minute to locate myself.
So what's an independent game?
An independent game, technically, is a game that is not owned by a publicly traded company. That's the technical definition. But
so Fish Game is an independent game because
it is an independent game.
You built it.
Yes.
Okay, that's amazing. Okay, so what do we hope to learn here?
Well, we want to chat with folks about what is valuable to them, what makes a game valuable to them, right? And we'll also just learn what's coming out. I've been so busy with our own development and with kids and stuff that I don't know what's happening anymore. I'm out of the loop.
Really?
So this is a good way to get like quickly back in the loop and just see what people are doing, be it from artistic or technological perspectives.
Holy moly, what's happening
Jeez,
here?
what is this?
Is this a line to get in the exhibit hall?
They just open at 10, that's why.
Oh, they just opened.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about to open.
Okay.
Yeah, so, but yes, to answer your question.
Oh, wow.
It's literally
But in
10
1
right
minute
now.
it's going to open and then
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
going to be fine.
Is everybody going to run in there?
Yeah.
Everyone's going to walk because they're on routes.
I always forget. It's like when you work in games, you kind of forget how much they mean to people, you
Yeah.
know? And like people are excited to get, they're really excited to get to see things a bit early, you know?
That's
Or it's like when you're working on something, you're just like this close to it every single day.
Too close to
And
the math problem.
Yeah, well, it's, you know, the impact of what it might deliver tends to get a little bit smaller, you know?
Oh, here we are. Holy
Yeah, here we
cow,
go.
dude.
Yeah, it's a visual smorgasbord.
This is like, all right, I'm following you, buddy.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not a gamer. I'm not in the game industry. This is an overload.
Well, here's brace yourself. We can go see who we know there.
All right, let's go. Following you. It just opened and it's already this busy. Like people knew exactly where to go.
Yeah, people have like the game they want to see.
Really?
And they'll know where it is on the map, and they want to be first in line because you get to play it before it's out. You know?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, look at this line just instantly happened.
Instantly.
Oh, so this is the Pokemon line.
Yeah.
Okay. Among Us. Did Among Us start as a?
That's an indie game.
It's an indie game.
Yeah. Very small team. Very small
Brace
team.
yourself. So this is where Ryan works.
Yeah.
All right, this is Ryan from Brace Yourself Games. You're a, what would he call it? Like a...
Game designer, but I'm also the founder of the company.
Yeah? Let's go here and look at these games. That's okay. Is that cool?
I'll be right around.
So what does Brace Yourself do?
We are a developer and publisher of video games.
So you publish all these things?
We're publishing 2 of the games that are here, and then the rest of them we develop.
Oh, okay. Show me what you got.
All right, so, well, this one in the top left corner, actually over there even better, is Phantom Brigade.
Let's go check it out.
Sure. It's a cinematic mech tactics game. This is not the game that these folks are playing here, though. Actually, maybe around the other side somebody might be playing it.
Okay.
Go take a look.
So this is Phantom Brigade?
Yeah, that sign is Phantom Brigade, but
So-
these folks are playing Rift of the Necrodancer and Cobalt Core. This is Phantom Brigade, yeah, cinematic mech tactics game.
Okay. Did you guys produce this?
Yeah, this is one of the ones that we developed in-house.
Really?
Yeah.
What did you write it in? What was it coded in?
This one's Unity, C#.
Unity?
Yeah.
That's awesome. And so are people, they have the opportunity to play games for the first time? Is that what's happening back here?
Yeah, so all of our setups have all 5 of our games on them. So people can just sit down and play any one of the 5 games that we're demoing today.
Right.
Yeah.
This is, you guys made this?
Yeah. Yeah, it was actually a pretty small team too. So a lot of people are usually surprised to hear that like a team of about 7-ish full-time people can make something that looks this, you know, AAA professional.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Well, yeah, that's just a testament to the power of game development tools these days. They're getting easier and easier to work with, so smaller and smaller teams can produce, you know, big things that look like they're made by hundreds of people.
So if the tools are getting easier to make games, then what do you have to do to make a game differentiate itself amongst other games? Like, is it the gameplay or the story arc, or what's important?
It's different in different genres. So if it's like a narrative genre, then obviously, yeah, you have to be innovating on that aspect. But this game is not a narrative game; it's a tactics game. So what we're doing is we're innovating in the way that the combat works. So most tactical games are kind of very turn-based, where like you choose what you're going to do with your characters, then the enemy chooses what they're going to do. It's like I go, you go, kind of like chess.
Yeah.
But in this game, Phantom Brigade, you can see what the enemy is going to do 5 seconds in advance. You can see what they intend to do. And it's actually kind of like a video editor. You kind of scrub through time on the timeline. I'm going to try to start some combat so that I can show you what is innovative about the game.
Oh, wow. How long did it take to develop this?
This one was in development for about 7 years, actually.
Wow.
But part of that was early access, where it was like available to play and purchase.
So you have to go, like, from a financial perspective, you have to go all in on a thing.
Oh yeah.
To make a game, you're like, okay, we're gonna make this game. We think it's gonna work.
Yeah.
We're not sure.
Yeah, well, that's the whole point of prototyping, though, but also sometimes coming to shows with one of our other games, Crypto the Necrodancer, which we're also showing. I brought it to PAX in 2013 after it was in development for about 6 months or something like that, and just to see, do people like this? You know, are they resonating with it? And they really did, but if they didn't, we could have canceled it right then, because we've only been working on it for 6 months with like 2 or 3 people. That investment was much smaller than 7 years with, 7 people, right? So yeah, we do try to test and validate things as early as possible. Also, you can put out like a teaser trailer or a video on the internet and see, are people tweeting about this? Are we getting lots of views on YouTube? Are we getting lots of comments and things like that? And if you're not, then maybe you could cancel it or you can scale it down. So there are ways to test the market, but different games are easier to test in advance than others. Some of them, like Phantom Brigade, you actually need like a lot more of it complete before you can show it to people. So you might have to invest like multiple years before you can actually test it. But then you know that in advance, certain genres take a long time to get to a testable state. So if you want to work in that genre, you're taking a risk, right?
Oh, wow. So you start the concept, you develop the game, you do some initial testing to see if people like it.
Yeah.
Oh, this is crazy. You are...
Yeah,
So you get the big map, and then you also can go in at this low level.
Yeah, so you might like this, Destin, in your background. So at the bottom, it's kind of like a video editing timeline.
Okay.
So I can see 5 seconds in advance of what the enemy intends to do. And at the bottom, I'm kind of scrubbing through time. So I can see, this mech is going to run for a bit, and then they're going to attack my mech over there for a brief period, and then they're going to stop. And so, I get to decide, okay, what do I want?
How to counter it.
Yeah, what do I want my mech to do? So my mech has a shield. So I can see when this mech, you see that means fire is going to commence at this point in time.
Yeah.
So I can put up my shield and shield against that. And then as soon as the fire ceases, then I can do my attack.
So you have like the ability to read the future, like a Minority Report kind of thing going on. Yeah.
Yeah, except actually the cool thing I think about this is you don't see what the future is going to be, you see what the enemy intends to do.
I see.
Because if things change, like if they intend to run from here to here, but you shoot their legs out halfway through, then they're not going to get from here to here.
So you've scrubbed, there's this thing called an OODA loop in attacking, like in a combat sequence, there's an observe, orient, decide, act.
Right.
You've actually backed up the observation phase 1/2 step.
That's right.
That's pretty
Observe
cool.
first, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and so crazy things can happen sometimes because like if this mech intends to run from here to here, but you shoot its legs out partway through, it might crash there. But if you were running one of your mechs through and you thought that space was going to be free because you scrubbed through time and you saw no one was going to be there, well now you're going to trip over that crashed mech. So like, chaos can ensue once, physics actually takes over. And you don't know, in our game, we don't have like chance to hit. So in other popular tactics games like XCOM, for example, they tell you, if you take the shot, there's going to be 90% chance to hit. We don't have that. Instead, we just have a cone of fire. Like, say you have a shotgun, we say somewhere within this cone, that's where all of the shotgun pellets are going to go.
It's like the spreader in Contra.
Yeah. And so you don't know exactly where they're going to go. It's semi-random. So some of them may hit, some of them may not. And depending if they hit the legs or the torso, that's going to do something different to your enemy. And so you just have to like play it and see what actually occurs and deal with that.
So how are people responding to this game? It's again Phantom Brigade, right?
Yeah.
How are they responding to it?
Really positively. Yeah. When people, if they're into tactics and they see this difference here, that it's a lot more cinematic compared to traditional tactics games, they love it because, like I said before, traditional tactics games is like you take your turn, they take their turn, it feels very stilted, whereas this feels like cinematic. It's like a mecha anime or something like that.
So sometimes the visuals are worth it.
Yeah, but it took a lot of prototyping for us to get this working because this is different from anything else in the genre. So this is the risk that we chose to take to try something new.
That's awesome. So what makes a good video game?
It's so hard. I don't know why that's such a hard question.
I know it is, right?
Yeah, I guess for me, one of my favorite games is Super Smash Bros. I also like Magic the Gathering a lot. I really like competitive games, partly because the human element, when you're playing against another person, you never know what they might do. And mastery is difficult because they're also trying to master. And there's always like metas. So if something starts to work for people, then a lot of people start doing that thing, and suddenly that doesn't work
It's like an
anymore,
arms
right?
race,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. So you have to like counter meta the meta and always be one step ahead of what they might be doing.
So you like the people side of it. So this game is the opponent in Phantom Brigade. Is it a computer or is it another person?
In this game, it is a computer, yeah.
Got it.
This is a single player
Got
game.
it.
So I do like single player games as well. I like the part where you're trying to figure out the systems. Where like, how does this work? Because it's kind of a black box, right? You've never encountered this game before, these systems. You're like, I want to learn this and optimize this and win. I love that stage of games, but the reason why I stick with competitive games for longer is because that optimizing phase lasts for thousands or tens of thousands of hours. Whereas most other games, you could usually only get like maybe a couple hundred if it's a really good game.
So Ryan, you produce a bunch of games and publish them. What would you say a good game makes you feel?
Yeah, I think different people would answer that differently. For me, I actually like the act of learning, and like actually losing feels good to me, because if you're winning all the time, if you're playing a competitive game and winning all the time, you're probably not actually learning much because you're just executing your plan. It worked, and then you play again. Oh, my plan worked. That's not fun. I actually like it when I lose, and I try to think like, yeah, what could I have done better? What were they doing that was screwing me over, that was tripping me up?
So the pain of losing actually refines you and makes you better.
Exactly, yeah. So there are some games like World of Warcraft or a lot of traditional RPGs where you level up over time by gaining XP, by like fighting monsters, your numbers go up, you gain levels, you get stronger. I actually don't like games like that very much, because you get stronger just by like time, by effort, rather than actually by learning. So I'm not sure if you know, there's a genre of games called roguelikes. So one of our games, Crypt of the Necrodancer, is like one of the early indie roguelike games. And those ones, when you die, you lose everything. You start over again.
Rogue-like?
Yeah, so there was an old game in the 80s called Rogue. And it was one of the first to do this type of thing where like you die and completely start over again. And
So the stakes are high.
Now there's a genre of games called roguelikes that are similar to that. And yeah, so when you die, you don't keep any of your experience, you don't keep any of your equipment or whatever. You only keep what you learned. And so people always call it grinding, where you, in games where you like level up, you gain experience over time and you level up, they call that grinding. And in roguelikes, you don't grind to get stronger, you like grind your soul to get, better and stronger and smarter at the game.
Oh wow, so you're refining yourself as a person, and so the game is actually making you better. You're learning, you're getting better.
Yeah, roguelikes are usually procedurally generated games, so like the game randomly generates scenarios for you every time, and they're different every time. And so it's putting you into situations that you probably haven't quite encountered before. And so it's difficult for you to master it, because you're like, I've never been in precisely this situation where that monster is here and this one's here and I have this equipment. So you have to just sort of get a feel for it over time. So
It's like you're gaining, you don't just have knowledge, you're gaining understanding and wisdom in the game world.
Exactly, yeah.
Would you say that Oregon Trail, do you remember Oregon Trail?
Yeah.
Would you say it's roguelike?
I guess so, yeah. When you die, you do start over again, so in a way.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Spell that for me, roguelike.
Roguelike.
Roguelike. So the game, I need to go look at the game Rogue.
Yeah, it's an old ASCII art game. You might have seen it, way back in the day. I'm not sure if it was actually first created in the 70s or the 80s, but it's one of the older ones. So yeah, just ASCII art, but it was, super innovative, because no one had done anything like that before, where, you're not just getting more powerful every time. You die, you have to start over. You learn the systems. That's the only way to get better.
So even though the graphics are getting way better, it all comes back to the gameplay and how that works.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think graphics are a nice wrapper. It can help you to get into the fantasy of the worlds. But yeah, the actual core rules underneath, those are the things that I care about the most as a player, because those are the things that are making you feel the feelings that you're feeling, right? So,
dude, that's super deep.
So yeah, roguelikes are procedurally generated, different every time. And when you play the original Rogue, when I was a kid, I played it so much, hundreds and hundreds of hours of it, but I felt like often when I died that there was nothing that I could have done better on that seed to win.
What do you mean seed?
So this dungeon that you're looking at here is generated by a random number. It's like from 0 to max int, and then it uses that number to generate all of the enemy positions, the size of these rooms, how they're connected, and everything like that. So it's different every time. The situations that it's putting you into are different based on just that one number. So at the beginning, when the game starts and you start a new run, it just asks the random number generator from a number from 0 to max int, and then it generates everything based on that. And so when you play the original Rogue, I believe that almost all of the seeds are actually not winnable, even though if you're super skilled, you probably can't win. which is frustrating to me. It feels not fair because I want it to be that once you get to like, you know, super powered at that game, that you've played it so much, you should be able to win every time, right? But then modern roguelikes, so games that are kind of like Rogue but more modern, started to come out, and they felt a lot more fair. There was a game called Spelunky where it's a lot more skill-based, and when you die, you always know that it's your fault. It's because you didn't see the spikes down there and you fell on them, or you didn't whip that bat properly and it hit you or something. And so when I played Spelunky, I was like, I love this feeling of fairness. Like every time I die, it's me. I know that I just need to improve and get better. But I want that feeling in a game that's more like Rogue. Rogue was very turn-based. You could stop and take your time to think on every action before you decided how to move. So I wanted to create something that felt more like Rogue, but fair like Spelunky. And so that's why I created Crypto the Necrodancer. So what I decided was the reason why Spelunky feels fair is because of the real-time nature of it. Like it's skill, real-time skill, like whether or not you hit the bat correctly or you dodge the spikes or not. But Rogue doesn't have real-time skill because it's turn-based. You can decide, take as much time as you want to decide. But I wanted to keep the turns, so I decided, well, what if you just have fast turns? What if you have to make your turn, you decide every second?
That's what you're doing here.
Right. And
so you're moving like, you're deciding to move left or right.
Right.
So when just by hitting this.
Correct. And when I tried making a game that was like Rogue, but where you had to move once a second, it felt kind of like I was moving to the beat of music. And so I decided to play it with Michael Jackson's Thriller as the music and move to the beat of that, and it just felt awesome. And Thriller is also good for, you know.
So there's audio here that's...
There is, yeah, we don't have the headphones on right now, but yeah, this is a music game. So it's a roguelike game where you move to the beat of the music, but all the enemies are like very simple. All of their patterns and things like that are very easy to understand, but when you need to decide like quickly how to address them, that becomes difficult. So like slowly over time, you master, you're like, okay, that enemy in this situation, when I've got this type of weapon, I should respond like this. So
this, you just died, so you're about to do a new seed, right?
That's right. Yeah, I'm gonna do quick restart, and so now it's a new run.
It's a whole new game.
Yeah, now the shop is up here, and there's another room connected over this way, so completely different.
That's awesome.
So yeah, my goal was to make like a roguelike that felt fair, and this game is 100% fair. Like every time you die in it, it's because you made some mistake. And we have replays that show you like what mistake you made so that you can improve. And like I was saying before, like grind yourself, like improve your own skill over time to get better at the game.
Is the grind frustrating? Like, is there another class of games that aren't frustrating?
Yeah, I think some people feel that it is frustrating. So modern roguelike games usually have some kind of, we call it meta progression. So I can show you when we go back to the lobby. So when you die, you get a currency called diamonds, and you can go in the lobby and spend the diamonds on upgrades. Yeah, we don't have any right now, but you can see in this shop, if we had 2 diamonds, we'd be able to buy another heart container. So that would make it so you have more health on your next run. So modern roguelikes usually do have this sort of meta progression. So even when you die, you do get a bit stronger. But because I really like pure roguelikes where there is no meta progression, we also have a mode where you lose all of those upgrades and you actually start fresh every single time. So our game has both, and a lot of games these days have both. So if you want to get stronger over time, even if you're dying, like if you want your character to get stronger, there's that mode. And if you want to like fully reset every time you die, there's also that.
I like that your menu is like, it takes gameplay to get to the menu.
Yeah.
That's a pretty neat idea.
In-world menu. Yeah, it started out because we were a small team, and actually like creating a proper menu system takes some time. And like I was saying before, we wanted to bring this game quickly to shows like PAX so that we could see, do people like this game or not? And it was just faster to do it that way. And then actually it sort of seemed cool too. It's like, oh, it feels like you're always in the world. You're not in this menu, in a UI system or something like that. So it just stuck, but it actually started out just for expedience sake.
That's awesome, man.
So they didn't do Mega Booth, but it's like basically Mega Booth.
It's pretty much.
Yeah, okay. So there is no Mega Booth this year.
There's no Mega Booth.
Yeah.
What's a Mega Booth?
It's like an organized gathering of the indies where you like opt in. I think maybe you get a reduced rate or something. This is where it usually is.
It used to be hard for small teams to be able to get into shows like this.
Yeah.
It used to be just like big companies, and then a group called the Mega Booth got together and rented a big space and put a lot of small indies in it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, so your game's called 30XX?
Correct, 30XX.
30XX, okay, what are you going for?
What are we going for?
Yeah.
30XX is basically co-op roguelike Mega Man X, so it's a classic action platformer that has all sorts of random level generation elements, so every time you sit down to play, you're going to get a totally fresh experience. The game is going to throw fresh challenges at you and always give you fresh tools to deal with those challenges with. and it's also got multiplayer, so you can enjoy it with a buddy.
So it's roguelike?
That's right, yeah, so everything's randomly generated every time you play. You're going to go through 8 sort of semi-randomly generated levels in a random order, so you're going to see different bosses, different weapons, different powers, and when you die, it's back to square one. Of course, that's in one of the game's modes. That's kind of standard. In 30XX, which is a sequel to our previous game, 20XX, we also have a mode called Mega Mode.
So this feels like Mega Man.
That's what we're going for. That's exactly what we're looking for. So we sort of underestimated the number of people who in the new game would want a kind of non-roguelike experience. So we built a new mode for the game called Mega Mode, where we basically generate the entire run, the entire campaign up front, and let you choose levels one at a time, kind of like a Mega Man game, where when you die, you only go back to the beginning of that stage instead of losing the entire run like you would in a traditional roguelike like Isaac or Splunky or Dead Cells or any of those guys.
Yeah, so it's like you try the same thing again.
Exactly, yeah. You get that sort of sensation of, there's a flavor aesthetic amongst Mega Man fans where like, when you fail at a given level or a given challenge, you kind of want to try again and again until you can master that specific challenge. So this time around with 30XX, we offer that with Mega Mode if you're not a fan of like the full-on roguelike challenge.
Yeah. So what makes a game valuable? What makes a game good?
What makes a game good is making the player feel something. In our case, that's the tension of challenge. It's hitting that exact right balance between not too difficult and too difficult, where the player knows that everything that they have in this specific run kind of hangs on their execution, but not stressing them out all the time.
Got it. So tension, release, and they feel... Yeah.
You feel the tension of the challenge, you feel the thrill of victory, you feel the bitterness of defeat when you mess up, you learn something, you come back at it, you try again, and you feel the victory.
So it's about growth and learning.
It's about growth and learning.
That's awesome. Hey, thank you so much, CK.
Yeah, pleasure.
Yeah, I love Capri Suns. You're giving me a Capri Sun?
This is awesome.
That's literally your first Capri Sun?
In memory. I don't think they're popular in
You didn't play soccer
Vancouver,
as a
at
kid?
least. We got oranges in soccer. We had oranges in water.
Lame.
Yeah.
We got candy bars and Capri Suns.
What are your opinions on the Capri Sun?
I'm a bit underwhelmed, honestly.
What makes a valuable video game?
That's to have a good flow. That's like the most important word for me probably is it has to feel right. Like you have to, like the smoothness of motion or just like the consistency of gameplay. Like if it flows well, that's what feels right.
So like no friction from one thing to the next.
Yeah, or just like the feeling of like continual accomplishment, like through a level or like through a moment. Like that's kind of the thing that I think I crave in games the most.
What does a game do for you? Like what value does it bring to your life?
I think it gives me a false sense of accomplishment in a good way. Like in times where I'm like having a really bad day, you achieve a little thing and that just like helps you a lot sometimes.
Just mentally?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What did you think about Fish Game?
Fish Game looks super cool. That looks like the most sort of calming simulator experience that I could hope for.
So what kind of feel do you think it would bring to the table for you?
I mean, obviously it's got flow. That's, it's got water. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. That's great.
But no, like I like that idea of like slowly building up something and then watching it sort of like live. Obviously it's not live, but like you get to build up this little environment and then watch something succeed in it, and that's really cool.
That's good. Cool. Thank you very much. What was your name again?
Brandon.
Brandon, nice to meet you, Brandon. Appreciate it, dude. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
So you're Kermit,
Yes, I am.
and you guys do Farming Simulator.
Yes, we do. I always like to start people out the first time playing in the Combine Harvester.
Yeah?
It's kind of like the last step, actually, of working your fields, but sometimes you start the game with one ready to harvest.
Oh, so you get, like, I have a friend who's a farmer.
Okay.
And I rode in a combine with him. He said the harvesting is like the best day ever.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So you start people here to hook them, right?
Yeah, and it's one of the most enjoyable jobs, and it's
Go for it. I'd love to watch.
It's that culmination of how you all that work you put in and getting there. So you can use mouse and keyboard, or you can plug in a controller. You can even use like steering wheels and full-on simulation setups.
Do you get to see your yield? Like, does it tell you how much grain you're getting?
Yeah, if you get out on foot, you can kind of see what we have instead of like an actual number is like a bonus percentage. So this one, for example, wasn't fertilized. That's going to be a penalty on your yield. And then the yield bonuses are achieved by doing extra processes in the farming process. So like mulching your field after harvest, for example. So there's multiple things to do in this game, and it's something that you learn bit by bit. You can raise animals as well. You can turn your crops into further products. So we could turn this wheat into flour at the grain mill on the map. and then take the flour from the grain mill and take it to the bakery and turn it into bread, for example.
So let me ask you the obvious question. So why would people play a farming simulator and not just go farm?
Well, it is a game at the end of the day, so it kind of, romanticizes farming a bit. It's not the full-on experience. Like you're not struggling and worrying about, the weather, your crops being ruined, things like that in the game. So we do try to, maximize the fun factor, of course, so that people enjoy it.
So you don't have people in a muddy field fixing an irrigation pipe or anything.
Right, exactly, exactly.
That makes sense. So you kind of take all the pain points out, but you give them the satisfying experience.
Yeah, it's more about like building from nothing. That's how a lot of players play. Like you start out and work your way up and, kind of set the goal in your mind of what you want to do. Sometimes, for example, I'll be like, I'm going to have a dairy farm on this map. So I'll focus on raising cattle and doing a lot of grass work to be able to feed them. Or I may get tired of that after, playing it for a while. And then I go to a new map and I say, this time I'm going to focus on growing grapes. And then we're going to turn them into raisins or grape juice or something like that. So you can kind of just pick in your mind what you want to go do and make that your goal. And then just keep playing it until you're ready to move on. We have hundreds of machines, 5 maps made by us, and then like a bunch more. We have user created content too. So we have officially, like in the game, a built-in mod hub. Third-party creators submit them to us, get them approved, and then those come out. There's like 5,000 mods, I think, for 22 at this point.
5,000 mods.
Yeah. And
so the community does the mods. I'm gonna put this up here.
Exactly. Community does the mods, and the community is really passionate about it too.
So, all right, this is Kermit from Farming Simulator, and they have a really cool game where you can like harvest wheat that you grew. Let me ask you this, Kermit, what makes a good game? Like what value does a good game bring to the player's life?
I think it's like, bringing them like that feeling of accomplishment, especially in our game. I think that's what draws people to it, because you have to kind of figure it out as you go. There are some good resources out there to help you learn, but it's a game that gives you a lot back. So the more you put into it, the more you start to like feel even more immersed in it. So for us, I think that is a good feeling of like how our game is good to people.
What would you say to people that say this is a waste of time? Like what would you say to those people?
I mean, you can waste your time doing a lot of things, but I think as long as you're having fun, then that's the most important thing.
Is there an education component to this?
Slightly, like we're a little bit reluctant because, as we talked about just a moment ago, it's not real farming one-to-one. It's never going to be a full representation of that. But for example, we've worked with John Deere in Europe, and we've created a mod with them called Precision Farming, which is going up a lot of the newer technologies in agriculture that is trying to move things to be more sustainable, have less waste, things like that. So that has provided an educational experience, like both to our players and also to the new technology, where like without that information, you could have only seen it firsthand in person with the tractor and the machinery required.
That's awesome. Yeah. Hey, thank you very much, Kermit.
Thank you.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thank you.
So this is Sarah Northway, award-winning video game creator. Can I say that?
Yeah, you can say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a question I've been asking everybody is, what makes a game valuable to people?
What makes a game valuable? For me, it is uniqueness. Yeah. So something that I've never played or seen before, like that's what I go for, 100%.
So something, it's like a new experience.
A new experience. That's always what I'm looking for when I play games, and my own games are just things that I wish were in the world. So I just make games that I'm like, I don't see and I want them to exist.
So you make the things you want to exist.
Exactly.
Okay, so what is like a game, if it's done well, what value will it bring to the player's life?
I think a game that is done well does two things, right? I think that it has provides kind of an escapism. It provides like a place that you can go, like another world or another set of ideas that you can experience. And I also love games that provide some kind of knowledge or new experience or even just thoughts about yourself. So those two things together.
So it makes the player better, like it teaches them something?
Yeah, take you somewhere else and then teach you something or change you in some way.
Tell me more about the change. How will a good game change you?
So I'm into games that kind of make you reflect on your own thoughts on things, right? So maybe you haven't thought a lot. So particularly, I Was a Teenage Exocolonist deals with a lot of questions about the future of humanity and how we should approach expansionism, environmentalism, colonialism. And if you haven't put deep thoughts into those things, you will have by the end of my game. So I'm not trying to put new thoughts in your head necessarily, but make you consider how you feel about a subject and see it from different points of view, and just be able to think about it yourself and figure out how you feel about it.
So it's not about wasting time, it's about growing as a person.
Yes.
Really?
But also about wasting time.
In a good way?
In a good way.
What's your favorite game that you've made?
It's probably, no, I don't know.
Who's your favorite kid? Yeah.
I know, right? Who's your favorite kid? It's a really hard question.
You can have favorites, but you can also say that one's not my favorite. Yeah. You can say that, yeah.
So the very first game that I made is probably still my favorite, which the first game I made that I released, which was Rebuild 1, which was a little simple city builder. It was Flash, very accessible, but it had a lot of narrative to it. And I made it in a month, and I just put it out on the internet. And the first review I got on it was, "Who wants to read so much in a video game? No one's gonna play this."
Did that hurt?
And then it did. It hurt so much because I was like, I had put a lot of narrative into what was, a city building, like not the kind of genre that would have narrative. And then people loved it because it was unique. It was something that wasn't out there. It made you think about more than, just rearranging buildings would make you think. So, I don't know, worked out. That was my favorite.
What have you learned about developing video games? Like what do you think is the right way to do it? What's something that you learned that was the wrong way to do it?
Yeah, so I think that one of the things that people do get wrong is they try to make games that will appeal to like a very broad audience. Like they're trying to get everyone to like their game equally. And I feel like that you end up with games that just aren't as fun to anybody when you do that. And that it is kind of better to just focus on either something you want to play, or to just focus on like a smaller group of people. And in the process, you will make a game that does actually have a broader appeal because of its flavor, because it feels like something specific instead of feeling like a general world or a clone or something people have seen before.
So the act of narrowing the gameplay
Exactly.
ends up creating broad appeal that you weren't expecting.
Exactly.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Yes.
Fish Game, is that why you're doing Fish Game?
Yeah, well aware of it. Well aware of it.
So have you seen Fish Game that Gordon's working
I
on?
have, yeah.
What are
yeah.
your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it looks awesome. I think it's like
What are the bad things? What needs to change?
the bad thing.
Yeah, negative feedback. Come on, hit him hard.
Have you seen enough yet?
Hit him hard, hit him hard.
I haven't sent a build. I haven't sent a build
I know,
yet.
I need to see a new build. I really need to
Okay,
see a
yeah,
new build.
it's all good.
Yeah, I just wanted more. I just wanted more fish. I don't know. Honestly,
More fish,
the
yeah.
early build that I saw just had
That was
like
a little while ago,
super. Yeah, it was very a while ago. There was like beautiful, compelling fish, and I was like, I just want to fill the whole tank.
Yes.
I hope that my computer can handle it. And I just wanted like that much.
You can do that now.
I know. I used to play fish tank games in like the 90s. I feel like there were a few, and there just hasn't been any for ages.
What did the ones you used to play, what did they get right and what did they get wrong?
I mean, my favorite part of it was just to watch the fish, honestly. Like these were, you were saying time waster? It's not even that though. It's like zen. Like I just wanted to like be in that world, take away all my thoughts of real life, whatever my anxieties are. I just wanted to like be there with the fish. So that's what they always did right. What they usually did wrong was just like not enough fish, not enough options, not enough stuff to do.
So you need to have flexibility and you need to feel like you're in control.
Yeah, I did like to interact with them.
Do you want the fish to be able to die?
That's okay with me. Yeah. I'm down with the cycle of life. I was a teenage exocolonist, the game that just came out. Like, it looks beautiful, it looks cozy, everybody dies.
Really?
It's a brutal game.
So
Yeah.
it's, and what is the intent of doing that? Because there's actual risk?
I want people to feel something. I'm just trying to slap people and surprise them and make them feel something. I make you love the characters and then I take them away from you. But the whole point of the game is that you can play over and over and you remember little snippets of your past lives. So you're playing through the same events, but maybe this time you can save that character.
So it's not a true roguelike game.
No, yeah.
So what is I just learned the term roguelike. So
Right.
what is the opposite of that?
It's people actually have called it a roguelike, but it's completely deterministic. So it's like a deterministic branching storyline, but it's so complicated. It's like the butterfly effect. You start the game, you make a couple choices, and now you're on a totally different path. and your game will turn out different. But if you made those choices exactly the same way every time, it would be deterministic, it would be the same. A roguelike always has randomness in it.
It's always
no matter
probabilistic.
what you do. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my game is always the same, but you're gonna wanna make changes, and then the whole world will be different.
Why did you make the decision to go more deterministic instead of probabilistic?
My previous games had been, more probabilistic. I just wanted to change. I wanted to see if I could do it. I wanted to see if I could make a world that was always exactly the same no matter what, but that felt like a living, breathing, changing world around you. It's a massive narrative. Like, that's how I did it. It was 600,000 words of like tiny little event snippets that
like
can
a book.
play in any order. Yeah, it's like several books.
That's awesome. Well, thank you very much, Sarah.
Yeah, cheers.
Really appreciate it. Yeah, thank you. You can say bad things about Fish Game.
That was fun.
I think negative feedback is important, right?
Yeah.
How have you incorporated negative feedback in your games?
Oh, I just ignore them. I just do what I want. I do whatever I want.
Really?
Yeah, like that first guy who was like, why would you put so many words in a city builder? That doesn't make sense. I just put more words in.
Really?
I did the opposite.
Really?
I went with my heart. I don't know. I don't care.
Yeah, do you ever take negative feedback?
Yeah, sometimes, for sure. Yeah. I do soften some of the blows in Exocolonists. Horrible things can happen, and people were getting very, very upset about it. And so now I soften blows. I warn people a little bit that a bad thing's going to happen. And we have a very extensive, content warning system when you first start the game to just let you know that the game's not as cozy as it looks.
That's amazing, because I would say negative feedback is important. I should take the negative feedback, but you're saying you have to carefully consider the negative feedback.
Exactly, and maybe just warn people if the negative feedback is because it's not what they were expecting, just make sure they're expecting it.
Because you, as the game designer, ultimately have to make the decision on what you want the player to feel.
Yeah, exactly. And it's always what I want to feel, so I'm just making the games for myself.
Thank you, Sarah. All right, so this is a booth. This is a speedrunning game. That guy made it, and he's just sitting there playing his own game because he loves it. All right, so did you make the game?
I did make the game.
What was your name?
Nate.
Nate. And you made
InPulse.
InPulse?
InPulse with an N. Yeah, InPulse.
So you're sitting here playing your game.
I am playing my game, yeah.
Did you buy this booth to tell people about your game?
I did buy the booth to tell them about my game, yeah. This game has kind of been like, it's really been in the works for a couple of years, but in many ways has been in the works my whole life. I'm one of the like early progenitors of like Kaizo. If you've ever seen the people who are like throwing the shells and the hard Mario stuff.
No, forgive me, I don't know that.
No problem.
So basically it's a speedrunning kind of thing?
It's a speedrunning game, and like, yeah, this is very like...
when you say throwing the shells, so there's people that try to be very completionist.
In the Mario Maker kind of stuff, yeah. So like basically this game, kind of the idea behind this game is there's this genre. It's a very kind of niche genre called Kaizo.
What is Kaizo?
So Kaizo started really in the early days of like ACMOM, and then got popularized by a hack called Kaizo Mario World. It's basically a mod of Mario.
Forgive me, Nate.
Yeah.
You were so far down the rabbit hole.
Okay,
I don't
let's
even
not
know
go
the
down the
words
rabbit
you're
hole.
saying.
All right.
No, we can.
Okay.
You just have to like pull me along.
Pull you along. Sorry.
Okay.
All right.
You're
So,
good.
yeah. Let's keep it simple then. So basically, this game is basically built by me and tested and supported by basically the whole like platforming speedrunning community. And the idea behind the game basically is to help people feel what it feels like to do the kinds of things that you just saw me doing.
In a speedrunning game.
And it's sort of...
So is the game right now, are you dying and then restarting instantly?
So I'll show you some of the things about the game. So let's go back to the beginning just for some help. So here's your character. The name of the character is Flute.
Spell that.
Flute, F-L-U-T-E.
Okay.
And what you do is you collect notes like this, and then it's basically like half dash, half rocket jump. So I can shoot and I can fire them in the air, hence the name InPulse.
Oh, okay.
You bounce backwards, right?
Yeah, like a rocket impulse.
Like a rocket impulse.
Oh, I see. So you jump, you shoot back, and you go.
Yeah, but then the second half of that mechanic is that those things bounce off of stuff and can hit you like that. And so basically, the whole game is sort of about all these crazy things bouncing around, running into each other and stuff. Now, what's really cool, especially like, are you a music guy?
I like music, but I'm not good at writing music.
No problem. This game basically doubles as a giant prog rock album. It's one contiguous piece of music that evolves, and these things are notes that you're playing. So these notes that you shoot harmonize to the music. So that's always the root. There's a fifth, and it basically it plays music as you go, and it will actually teach you if you're doing it right or wrong, because you'll be able to hear it. You'll be able to know whether or not it's right or wrong.
Yeah.
Now, this game looks super hard. It is very hard. However, there's a lot of things that will help you learn. For example, you can save anywhere. Also, there's this guy here who will teach you how to play, and you can actually watch the inputs go by. That's what that is right there.
Those are the keys, key inputs.
Those are the key inputs, and you can like speed it up. You can turn it on and off. You can speed it up and slow it down.
So those are keyboard inputs there?
Those are keyboard inputs of this character that will show you how to play the level. And you can record your own, and you can make your own levels and record it and show people how to beat your levels, and they can then record their own and give them back to you. And
so it's a game by a speedrunner for speedrunners.
For speedrunners. Well, it's not for speedrunners, it's for other people, PAX audiences, to learn and become the kind of people who can do these things. It's not supposed to be like this kind of like elite kind of thing. It's built to basically make us say, no, you can do this too. If you look over at this gentleman over here, I don't know if do we have permission to film you? Is that okay for a second?
Yeah, it's
part of my other day. This gentleman over here, he's not part of our development team, and look at how deep into this he is.
Wow.
And so like really the whole idea behind this game, I've been doing game development a long time. The whole idea behind this game is to teach you how to do these kinds of crazy things. So he's very deep into the demo.
Is it fun?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Is it a lot of fun? I've heard a lot of people say this is their favorite game here.
Really?
I heard somebody say that earlier.
Thank you so much. Yeah. I'm very happy about this. This is my first kind of big title. I'm doing this all self-funded, and it's kind of like my first big splash into this industry, and I'm really, really happy about it.
So you programmed it?
I did the physics. I wrote the physics engine. It's a custom physics. I wrote the serialization system for it. I wrote the music. I have a producer who helps me with the music. This guy right here is the artist.
What's up? It's beautiful. I'm Destin.
I'm Robin.
Nice to meet you, Robin.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
And then I do the game design, the level design, and then all of the other things. I'm basically everything except art and music sound engineering.
Quick question, Nate. So you made this speedrunning game.
Yeah.
What makes a game valuable to people?
So, do you want the long answer or the short answer?
I want the real answer.
I want the real answer. All right. So, really, one of the cool things about game development, and it's kind of the opposite of playing a game in many ways. When you're playing a game, you experience the buttons, you experience the controls, and then that creates some kind of like almost like a dynamical system. I know you're an engineer guy, right? There's some kind of dynamics to it, and then there's an emergent behavior, and that emergent behavior is the emotion. When you're making a game, it's the exact opposite approach. The first thing we think of in our head when we're making games is, what is the need? What's the point of this? Why would you want this? What is the feeling that I want you to feel? And then I try to figure out what is the emergent behavior, and then I actually kind of build the axioms in reverse. And so that's kind of the way, it's sort of a reverse process. In this game, what's the point of it? What's the need? This whole game, the idea of this game is about learning. It's a feeling from going from not understanding something to understanding something. It's the joy of feeling like you don't understand and that you don't really know what's going on to suddenly feeling competent.
So you have the aha moment.
The aha, the competency. There's a reason why we have this music kind of theme, and it's because this genre is very much like playing an instrument. You know, hard speedrun games often get kind of a bad rap as being kind of impenetrable, but the analogy is like playing a guitar. When you're playing a guitar, learning to push your fingers and play the different chords and stuff, that's a very different experience and emotion than playing a song, learning how to play a song, the flowy kind of feeling, that is in the zone feeling that you have. So the whole point of this game is to minimize and compress that feeling at the beginning when you're learning those pieces and get people to where this guy is over here, where he's in the zone. He's feeling that feeling of going from not understanding to understanding and building the thing up. And so that's what we're really trying to do here. That's basically what this whole game is about. It's a game about.
Yeah, I noticed even his body language. He's leaning in.
He's leaning in. It's flow. It's the feeling, and it's that the levels are very short, it's compact, it's supposed to be just this, every level is supposed to bring you from a feeling of, I don't understand, to, not only do I understand, I can do this. And so it's that kind of feeling of, it's sort of the opposite of what you might expect from a hard game, that you might feel like it's supposed to make you feel overwhelmed. No, it's supposed to make you feel empowered. That's what this game's about. Yeah.
That's awesome. So give me a short answer.
Give you a short answer.
Well,
yeah.
No, I have a method to the madness here.
Okay, cool.
So what a good game? What value does it bring to the player?
What value? A good game. A game is good if it communicates its intent and it satisfies the emotions that that game is supposed to satisfy. There's lots of different reasons you can play a game, from Zelda, where it's like immersive, to role-playing, to World of Warcraft, where it's socializing. It really doesn't matter what the thing is, it just matters that there's a thing and that you know what that thing is going in and that it's delivered to you. It's like any other product. You go in, there's something that you want and it gives it to you. In games, it's emotion. And so what is the emotion you want? If it's given to you, that's a good game.
Okay, you developed this game, InPulse. It's a speedrunning game built by a speedrunner for speedrunners.
Yep, and for other people to become speedrunners.
I see.
Yeah.
So what do you want people to feel when they play this game?
I want them to feel a sense of going from not understanding to understanding. I want them to feel the feeling of competency, of going from I'm a beginner to feeling like, wow, I can actually do this.
So it's about teaching the player.
The whole game is about learning. It's the feeling of learning. Yeah.
Do you feel like you've accomplished that?
I do.
Yeah. Are you proud of it?
The moment that a 10-year-old sat down and made it 10 levels into this, I knew that I'd accomplished my goal.
Really?
Yeah.
What was that feeling like?
It felt like
emotional?
Very emotional. I feel like in many ways I've been making this game my whole life, because really my whole life, this is a very philosophical, there's a whole worldview behind this kind of game, about, that feeling of empowerment that comes from that kind of learning feeling. And I felt like I delivered it. I'd finally gotten to a point where I could make people feel the feeling that I felt when I started speedrunning. That was
it's a good piece of art or literature. You created it wanting people to feel what you felt.
I want people to feel the thing that I felt, and I feel like they feel the thing that I felt. So, yeah. All art, in my opinion, is communication. It's a dialogue. It's like I'm behind this screen talking to you when you're playing this game. Same with every developer here. This is an input-output type of experience. It's just kind of like happening through time because it happened before you ever picked up the game. That's what art is. It's communication. It's like the feeling of like, a game is good, a piece of art is good or bad because the intent was delivered. It's like writing. It's like speaking. It's like editing. It's like anything else. It's about the feeling of communication. And if you can communicate and articulate yourself and people can understand what you're saying and it's engaging, it really just is a matter of what do you want to learn? What do you want to know?
So there's two components to making a video game. There's the technical side, the programming,
right?
But then there's the storytelling and the philosophy and everything else beyond that.
Well, it's not even just the art and the storytelling. It's game design is its own thing, and that's this like sort of almost magic trick of making you feel the emotions. And that's what I feel this game is like most about, right? There's art here, but there's also it's the feeling the thing that we want you to feel. It's this kind of magic trick almost of like the smoke and mirrors of getting you to feel the things that we want you to feel, putting the emotions into your head. That's what we're about here. Yeah.
So you kind of present as a computer / programmer, but you're actually a creative and
yes.
you're
yes.
a bit of a philosopher.
Little bit.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Nate, right?
Yeah, huge fan of the channel. I hope that was helpful.
No, it's fantastic, man.
Okay,
so where are you from?
So originally I'm from LA. I went to school at Santa Cruz and then kind of traveled the world for a long time. I ended up in Croatia for a while. I'm currently based off in Zagreb, which is the capital of Croatia. If you go to Italy, you sail east, that's Croatia. And I kind of work there. I do stuff. I teach mathematics at a graduate school. I'm not a professor, but I teach math for people who want to make video games.
Tell me about the math of video games.
It's mostly a lot of linear algebra. It's a lot of linear algebra, especially in the graphics world. There's also kind of like, I don't know how deep you want to get into it. One of the things that you kind of like maybe wouldn't see in an undergraduate class, but which is used all the time in games, is we use a lot of like what's called projective geometry. So like
you have a 3D object, and
you need to make, you need to do a perspective projection. It's not in this game, but in any 3D game, if you've ever seen a 3D picture, at some point they have to be a 4x4 matrix, and there's a reason why it's 4 numbers and not 3, and that's the projective part. So like basically the thing that makes you basically divide by the depth to make objects appear smaller when they're farther away, right?
Yep.
Like, you know, like this hand appears smaller than this hand, right? Like that's that involves this kind of projective geometry. This thing is the viewing transform.
What's the term? Is it you get the eigenvector and you
homogeneous coordinates?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you have to do real-time coordinate transformations and flip things around.
Yeah, like lots of it's more like affine transformations.
I'm not familiar with that term.
So affine basically. We're getting a little technical, so I don't want to go too far, but I mean, maybe just like the baby version of it might be like linear transformation plus a translation.
Okay.
Sort of. Like
linear transformation meaning rotate and then translate.
Like any matrix, any you know, like any n by n matrix is a linear transformation.
Yeah.
But like, so I mean like skewing, rotating, scaling, that kind of stuff, but then also translations. And the funny thing is that you actually need, if you want to do things with matrices, you need 4 numbers to do that. It's funny, you would think that moving things would be the easiest one, but actually you need a 4th number if you want to get that to work. And that same 4th number, if you kind of play with it a little bit, can actually get you perspective too. Yeah.
If I want to play InPulse, where do I find it?
You can find it on the Steam page. We're going to start doing our funding soon for this game. It's not out yet, but when you do it, you'll get basically like 4+ hours of demo immediately, plus like level editor, plus all this other stuff. So we're in the funding phases right now, but you will be able to play it very soon. You can wishlist it on Steam right now. The Steam page is impulsegame.com or InPulse on Steam.
Yeah. InPulse on Steam.
InPulse on Steam with an N.
Cool. Hey, thanks, Nate.
Thank you.
Really enjoyed it, man.
I really enjoyed talking to you.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it's cool to talk to an engineer.
All right, so this is Greg, and Greg, you just released BeastieBall, right?
I announced BeastieBall.
Announced BeastieBall,
yeah,
okay.
It's not available for purchase yet, but there's a demo up on Steam, so like people can play it. It's around.
Got it. So you made Wonder Song?
Yeah, it's a Wonder Song.
I played it. It's great.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah. So Gordon worked on the music.
Yeah, Gordon did the music. Yeah, Gordon did music. We had a friend named Mem who did sound design, and then I was doing most of the other stuff in it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. I've been asking a bunch of people. Okay. What do you think makes a game valuable to people, like when they're playing it?
Game valuable to people? I think my favorite thing a game can do is like introduce, like have a very, very weird idea that you've never really thought of before, like in a weird space that you've never been in, and kind of build a bridge from like the life you know to this like weird other reality. That's really fun because it's like, like you get people somewhere they're not expecting, but you kind of like show them the path to get there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think that's like really, really fun and valuable because when you played a game that like, can do that for you really successfully, like I know it's like it can be a life-changing experience.
Really?
Yeah.
So what do you try to do with? So you made BeastieBall as well?
Yeah.
What are you trying to do with it?
Our big focus on this one is on building a team. So it's about like meeting lots of different characters who have different strengths and weaknesses and like learning how to help them succeed together basically. Every one of the little monsters, they have their own personality. They work together, they have like strengths and weaknesses in the game of volleyball. And yeah, you're building a team, a sports team. But it's like, you find the ones that you like and then learn how to help them succeed. So.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So what would you say is like what makes a video game good?
Like my favorite games are ones that feel like really holistically well thought through, where all the pieces fit together meaningfully. It's hard to like define specifically, but a lot of times like you'll play a game where it just doesn't really feel like they thought through all the pieces, things don't quite work together. I mean, it's really hard to do because they're complicated and there's budgets and time and lifespans and like a lot of things can happen.
Wonder Song was a big hit.
Yeah.
You made it on the Switch, right?
Yeah, we were on the Switch.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, thank you.
That's where we played it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So was it, how long did you work on Wonder Song?
Wonder Song was like a 2-3 year project. All of them are like 2 or 3 years.
It's pretty fast.
I guess relative to other people. Yeah, I mean, to me, like working on something for 2 or 3 years is like, I'm just counting how long I have to live. So
That's great.
Yeah.
So how does this work when you release a game? You put it up, let people play it, then get feedback?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, even the putting up a demo is a little bit of a weird thing for games. Often you talk about it for a long time, you tease people, you don't let them try it, then you put it out and like you hope that it's good. But for a game like this, I guess we were just kind of curious to let people get their hands on it because there's a lot about this game that's a little bit weird, and we just thought that people might be curious, like they want to try it, and we're confident that like people who play this game are going to want to see more of it. So that's why we're doing it that way. But not every game even does that. But yeah, often, you're announcing it, you're trying to gauge like how interested people are, what do people like about it, you know, and are they understanding what's good about it? How do you make a game, how do you make it work better for your audience? It's a long process. I mean, they take years to make, so, you know, you can't just like try an idea and hope it works. Like, I'm spending 2 years on it, like, I better be pretty confident that it's good, right? Yeah.
That's a big investment.
It is, yeah.
So is it going well?
Yes, the announcement has been going really, really well. Honestly, yeah.
So how many people do you hope downloads the game in order for it to be successful?
You know, I have not put a number on like don't ask me, I don't know. I haven't done the math yet.
What are your thoughts on that, Gordon?
I have done the math, but I can't remember. I'd have to pull up my spreadsheet. But usually, like, if we're looking at like games when we're negotiating as contractors and stuff, I've got like tiers of like success levels, and there's like Gangbusters successful is like over 500,000, probably. You
That's
think? That is a game that has done splendidly. Because we're not working in AAA where it's like you want 10 million plus 200 million downloads. We're working with small companies that just want to continue making games for the most part.
Yeah.
If a game does like over 100,000, that's like a success, and then 50,000 to 100,000 I consider like a middling success, and then below that is like can probably stay afloat.
It really depends. I mean, like we work on with very small. We have a really small team, so like our needs are different. Yeah. And like I mean, games are nice in that a lot of people buy games these days. I mean, so like almost the entire indie game scene exists probably in that under 50,000 sales line. But when you're only 2 or 3 people, 50,000 sales is like a retirement plan, you know?
Really?
Like, yeah, sure. 50,000 people who bought like a $20 game, like that's like $1 million. I mean, yeah. So
you're. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
So do you think about price points and stuff like that?
We do a little bit, but you know, even price, it's like it's a funny dance because what you're actually trying to do is, I mean, so think about how many people would buy it at this price? What do other games look like that are at a similar price? And sometimes you can even price the game too low, where like if it seems kind of cheap, people will think that it's worse than it is.
Yeah.
So there's a weird inflection point there on the price.
Yeah. Like so, it's you're trying to find all this stuff. It's like there's no easy answers for any of this.
Yeah, I like having kids and trying to market and release a game. Like I keep coming to the same point where it's like, no matter how much research I do, the answer like never reveals itself.
Yeah.
It's just like, I guess we're doing this then.
Yes,
you know?
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Just go with what feels right, I guess. Like it's like you research, and you feel more informed, but you don't feel any closer to the answer.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice to meet you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I'll grab that back from you.
Oh yeah.
Worked on some trailers for Hidden Deep. That was fun.
Doing audio or what?
Everything. We edited the trailers, did the sound. Yeah. Everything.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay. I expect you to die 3.
I think this is a pretty fun game. I haven't played it.
So is this like the opposite of a nurturing game?
Yeah.
So it's a whole thing.
It's a VR. I'm not sure if it's an escape room or not. It's like a. And so you see the type of footage.
Yeah.
How it's like the person inside the VR world.
Yeah.
Colin and Sarah like pioneered that.
Really?
That technology. Yeah.
That's amazing.
They basically invented it along with Kurt Gardner. Like
basically interpolating and guessing where the body would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even just doing it as a concept, like putting the VR player in the VR worlds. And so they were doing it live, like on stream. They actually managed to get it so that you could stream both worlds at the same time.
Oh, wow.
And so the viewers could see it like that. It was cool.
That's awesome.
Cool to be around.
Come on, look at this. Let me see.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. What really makes a person value a game, or what does it give them?
Well, I think life itself is a game. At least it could be seen that way. And when people can see it that way, I think that it helps them maybe get through difficult times in their life. I think there's value in playing in general. It's just a really healthy outlook. Like maybe if you're, games are just a way of making people happy and maybe giving them perspective like, challenges are a good thing. It's good to overcome challenge, and games kind of give us that. We don't want to give up. People have been playing this game for over an hour. They just don't want to give up. And it just gives them this sense of something like, I like this, I want to overcome it.
Well, it's interesting. It's like, you think about why is there pain in the world, and it seems like this is refining us and making us better at things.
Yeah.
So when you design the game, how do you balance making it hurt, so to speak?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
It has to hurt enough to know that it will make you stronger. Like with AI, I could design an AI system that would be unbeatable, and it wouldn't be fun. But you can make an AI dumb enough the person's like, I think I see what I need to do here, and I want to keep trying. I think that's the important thing. You don't want to make things insurmountable, but you do want to make them enticing and difficult, because if it's easy, games actually aren't fun when they're too easy. When you're like, you get the God mode, you beat the game, and then you unlock the weapon, you can kill everything in one hit. It's like, that's not fun anymore. You want the challenge. I think the challenge is where the juice is.
Is this the first game you've made?
Yeah.
Why'd you do it?
It's just the game I've always wanted to make. I've been playing games since I was a kid, so this is a love letter.
A love letter to what?
To my youth, to all the games that I enjoyed as a kid. I was like, I want to make something.
Yeah.
I think it's, games are art also.
And how many people are on your team?
The core team is Brian and me and Brian and our guy Scott.
So you're Brian.
Yeah.
I'm Brian.
And you support Smart Every Day on Patreon.
That's right. I'm a Patreon supporter.
Thank you
man.
so much, man. I really appreciate that. Yeah. So that's awesome. So you guys are the ones that come up with it?
And then Scott, who's not here.
Yeah,
he's our guy. He's in the depth. He's working right now on. We're giving him feedback right now. He's like working on it. So, yeah, he's our guy.
In all seriousness, thank you so much for supporting on Patreon, dude. It's a huge deal.
My pleasure.
Yeah, and where can I get your game?
It's not out yet. We're looking for a publisher.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're hunting.
That's where it's at. Okay, that's cool. It's nice to meet you guys, David and Brian, right?
Yeah.
Revenant's Reach. Thank you.
Shatterflash Games. That's our website.
Yeah.
What is it?
Shatterflash.
This one right
Shatterflash Games. All right, so this is Dan. He has created an incredible game called Universe Sandbox, right?
Yes.
So what is the game?
Universe Sandbox is a physics simulation that lets people create their own solar system, stars, planets, and moons, and then run a physics simulation on that to see what would happen. So
with working physics, like orbital mechanics or Kepler's laws, everything.
Yeah, so it's simulating gravity, we're simulating temperature, so the heat from stars will heat up planets. If you move the Earth close enough to the sun, it'll cause the ocean to boil off.
Radiation?
No, not yet. But I mean, right, it's on the list. Like, everything's possible. But yeah, not explicitly that one.
So you've been working on this for how many years?
15. Yeah.
So are you able to, what are you able to do now? Like, can I go pull up our solar system?
Yes. So we got a full working scale model of our solar system. The next update that should be coming out pretty soon will actually be simulating liquid lakes of methane on Titan. So we're doing full kind of material simulations where depending on the temperature and the pressure, water, water will boil in a vacuum. Water also boils in a vacuum in Universe Sandbox.
Really?
So, or methane is liquid on the surface of Titan because of the pressure and it's super cold. Like methane.
So you have phase diagrams of different chemical compounds.
Yes, that is coming soon. But yeah, so of many things, and then our collision simulation has just never been better. So you can collide all different kinds of objects.
The moon into the Earth.
Yes, and then we're running a full surface simulation on these objects. So when they collide, you get these heat marks that kind of radiate out from that collision, and then little fragments will appear and then fall back down onto the planet and collide with the planet.
So I was asking Gordon about Universe Sandbox, and what does it make you feel when you play?
I think it's one of the few games that makes you feel awe.
Yeah. Do you feel small when you play it?
Tiny. You can zoom out infinitely. You can zoom in, not infinitely, because eventually you just will be staring at the thing.
It's really small, yeah.
But you can slow down time infinitely. You can speed up time infinitely.
Really?
The things they've done with the Unity engine are mind-boggling.
And it's a very successful game.
Yes, yeah. We've sold over 1 million copies of the sequel. Yeah.
Of the sequel.
Yeah. Well, so the original one is the one version I wrote by myself, and then that did really well somehow. I'm still surprised and feel so grateful. And then with that money, I hired a team to help me make the sequel, and we've been doing that now for since 2011. So we've been working on the sequel now for 12 years, and it's been available for about 7.
Congratulations. And so this is what success looks like in a video game development process.
Well,
1 second. Is that success?
I think there are many forms of success, but I say yes. Yeah.
That's amazing.
I feel very, very, very lucky, very grateful. So, and then, oh God, and it's the coolest thing. It's so exciting. I'm still, years later, still excited about working on this thing. So there's just so much potential and interesting things to do. And again, because it's this realistic simulation of reality, it gives people an option, a way to like kind of develop an intuitive sense of how reality works in a way that they, you just couldn't grasp otherwise. What happens when the moon collides with the Earth? Like, that's just not something you can like try out.
Is it like, is it giving them an understanding of like the understandanding of how everything works from a perspective they couldn't get otherwise, like a God's eye view?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, a God simulator is a fair category to describe because you basically can do anything you want at any time. There's no restrictions, so you can add barring computational limits and the number of objects, but you can add 20 stars in a row, and then like what happens when they all collide, or you can line up like a whole bunch of Earths and a whole bunch of moons and have them all collide simultaneously, and then watch. And after they collide, then all of them will like kind of fold down in on each other because of gravity. So
this sounds like scientific research. Like this doesn't sound like a game. This sounds like you could publish some of this stuff.
Well, it's certainly. I do know that some. I mean, we have been used as a visualization tool for some astronomers, and then perhaps maybe as like, I don't know that explicitly it's been used this way, but I know that someone had suggested that you could like use this to like kind of mock up some ideas very quickly, and then you would and then you would actually go use your custom code that you run on supercomputers to like set up the parameters and let that run. But this would be like a really good way of like kind of testing ideas quickly.
What's your educational background?
I've got a Bachelor of General Studies, so.
You just went for it.
Well, it's kind of interested in all different kinds of things. So I'm basically a self-taught. I took like one computer science class in college and got a C because it was so boring. It was like it was awful.
What did you learn? What programming language?
Oh, it was like, this was like a while ago. So it was like Linux, C, and the Linux tool that doesn't use arrow keys. I couldn't stand that. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, those weird key combinations that make no sense. Anyway, which is so interesting because like half of Universe Sandbox is about the UI, the user interface, and like how do you manipulate these? And so that's what I spend all of my time thinking about is like how to make this how to make this as easy to use as possible.
To move a planet.
Exactly. Or to change its atmospheric composition, or to make it bigger, or heat it up, or whatever you want to do.
All right, so last question. If I wanted to download Universe Sandbox, where would I do that?
You can go to our website, universesandbox.com, and then there's a bunch of different locations, or it's on Steam, Microsoft, Itch, Epic, so all the major sites.
That's awesome. Thank you very much, Dan. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Are those keyboards?
Yeah.
Programmable keyboards. Where have I seen this video?
It's called Bad Apple.
Okay.
It's on YouTube. It's a video that became kind of a meme. Everybody started playing on everything from calculators to like whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was actually in r/place on Reddit recently.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised.
Okay. And so you guys are playing it on keyboards here.
Yeah, so what we did was we used our software to sync all the keyboards.
Oh, wow.
In a cohesive unit.
It shows up better in the camera.
And I can show you a rundown of how we hooked it up if you want.
Yeah, I want to see it. Yeah.
Amazing video on. So down here, I hooked up 5 PCIe expansion cards.
Down here? Yeah.
So this is a 6-lane motherboard running a Threadripper processor, and we hooked up 14 USB hubs, 7 ports each. Yeah. We have 96 keyboards hooked up.
Really?
And that's running our software, which is Signal RGB. And inside you'll be able to actually see all the keyboards laid out in real time.
Those are the keyboards.
So each one of these boxes represents a keyboard, and you can see how it...
You designed this?
So this is our software. We sync RGB devices from any brand.
Really?
Like Corsair, Razer, Logitech, SteelSeries. You can get it all working cohesively with one app, which is hard.
Can you put any image on that?
Yeah, I could put anything you want up here.
It's a... Shut up. Did he just put the Smarter Everyday logo on there?
Need it too?
That's crazy. Can you zoom out? That was fast. That was fast. That's crazy. Oh, you're playing a Smarter Everyday video. That's nuts. I want to see the bullet versus bullet impact. There's a video. There's a video like 3 videos back. I would just love to see it. Oh, that's so cool. Thank you, that felt good. Hey, I'm Destin.
Hey, TJ.
TJ?
Nice to meet you.
So this is your game right here?
Yep, Noor Play With Your Food.
Noor?
Noor.
Okay, so what's the idea here?
Yeah, so Noor is a game about playing with your food, almost like you're a kid again. There's no goals or objectives or ways to really do it wrong. You're just throwing food around the screen, making a mess, and yeah, it's just a really unconventional game that kind of focuses on the aesthetics and just celebrates food, really.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, thank you.
What did you make it in?
This is Unity.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I spend a lot of time like tweaking values, like tweaking sliders, and just like making sure everything looks like just magnifique, you know,
Spot
chef's
on.
kiss. Yeah.
Yeah, really, that's awesome. So there's no objective, it's just an open world, do what you want?
Yeah. This game is really kind of fighting the whole like, I don't know, expectation around a game needing like, just like goals or win conditions. The game really wants to not be stressful, you know? And like I found that like introducing mechanics that kind of took the magic away. Really, the game is just celebrating. Like, you know, it's just about chilling out, like zoning out, and just playing with your food and just kind of making a mess that you don't have to clean up.
How long did it take you to do it?
I've been working on this off and on for like 7 years.
Are you serious?
Yeah. It's been a long passion project, labor of love, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, it's been a long time coming, and it kind of came together piece by piece, like over just the years, over like folks suggesting things and just kind of being like, hey, it would be cool if you added this. Yeah, it's just a really fun project to work on.
It's TJ, right?
Yeah.
What's your background, TJ?
Pretty much this. I'm self-taught. I learned game dev just by Googling things until I knew enough to make a video.
So you
game,
didn't waste money on school?
No. Yeah, no. I was not like. School was not for me. It doesn't work with how my brain works. So I was bad at school, but I noticed I was good at this, so I kept doing it.
People love it?
Yeah. Folks seem to be having a really good time with it.
What do you hope people feel when they play Noor? What does Noor mean?
Noor is short for nourishment. It's a game to nourish you without any actual calories. And I hope that by playing, like, folks kind of just like reminisce on food and kind of just have they're just like little food stories. That's my favorite thing, is when people sit down and like tell me their food stories about how they used to like play with their food, or what their grandma used to cook, or just like, I don't know, just stuff like that is just like super
this
fun
is
to hear
popcorn
about.
just falling, right?
Yeah.
So it's like physics, you're just playing with the physics of it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So how do you handle like fluid viscosities and things like that?
Oh, fluid physics, we pretty much have like plugins and stuff that we use to, like, made by folks who are way better at math than we are.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that stuff really helps. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like a food game is the perfect place to showcase. Like, I don't know, like computers don't really do like fluid that well, but I'm glad that we have some of that in Noor.
Do people get hungry when they play?
Yeah, that was actually the main thing that inspired the game, was like folks saying like, oh snap, like this art makes me hungry, this food art makes me really hungry. Because like, this started out as an art project, like it wasn't even supposed to be a game at first, so.
Really?
Yeah, it just kind of evolved from people's reactions to it.
Oh, they just slow down time.
Yeah. That's a dispel. So the game has spells, which is your more abstract ways to play with food that we can't really explain through actual physical means. So with spells, you can set your food on fire, you can freeze it, you can make it dance if you want to. There's a lot of ways to play with your food. We kind of don't really care about realism here.
Oh, that's great. So a question I've been asking a lot of people, TJ, what do you think the value of gaming is for people? What value can it give a person who sits down and plays a game?
Yeah, there's so many different ways, like depending on what kind of game it is, there's so many different types of value that you can get from it, whether it's like escape, you know, like just being immersed in another world, that like, you know, you can just like get away to and have fun with, or whether it's just like I don't know, storytelling. Like I feel like games do a really good job of like putting you in someone's shoes, especially with another game here, Destin. I just played it. It does a really good job of like transporting you into just like somewhere else where like I feel like you can understand someone else's like worldview kind of.
Really?
So, yeah, I feel like games are a really empathetic medium. It's just like, okay, this is straight from someone's brain. This is their creation. This is what they want you to experience. I feel like there's a lot of value in that.
Next door, there was an exhibition hall set up for nothing but tabletop games and board games, which I thought was fascinating because I had learned all of these different ways that you want to design a game, like gameplay and the game loop, and that kind of applies to board games, but there's some differences. How do you pronounce the game?
It's a great.
Sagrada. Like Sagrada Familia. Yeah.
Sagrada Familia?
Sagrada Familia, the Spanish cathedral.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's cherry, right?
Yes.
What does this do?
Oh yeah, I'll show you.
Shut up. That's amazing.
And then when you want to put your game away, you just crank it down. These are 2 out of the 5 topper pieces.
Oh, you can leave the game as is.
Yeah, you crank down the game, put the topper pieces over it, your game's just waiting for you to play again.
What a good design, dude. What's the name of the company?
Wormwood, WYRMWOOD.
Oh, that's cool. Like screw tape letters kind of thing?
That's true, yes.
Yeah, yeah. Have you ever read the screw tape letters?
A long time ago. I mean,
Great book.
In like high school maybe or college.
It's a great book, dude. Yeah. Dude, that is so heavy.
That's a lot of sides.
What is it? It's a D100. That's crazy.
Crazy awesome.
It's crazy awesome. Yeah, that's legit.
What's that polygon called?
I don't know. It's not platonic, is it? Oh, the Contra board game?
Whoa.
What? I've never seen anything like this.
That's a big pile of games.
Yeah, if you would have asked me games that start with a Q, I don't think I'd have had any. So how do board games differ from video games?
I think it's harder because you're dealing with physical medium, right? Like very few people get to do it full time. I think
Really?
a lot of indie board games are very much passion projects.
Really?
Yeah. Because I think the overhead is so much higher because you have to buy the physical materials, find a manufacturer, put together distribution lines, find a distributor, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas video games, it's just all ones and zeros. And then you also probably have a smaller market as well.
Oh yeah, it's more dedicated gamers.
It's a smaller market and more difficult to execute.
My name's Destin.
Keith.
Keith, nice to meet you. So you design games, like board games?
Yes, board and card games along with tabletop role-playing games and video games.
Really?
Yeah.
So what are you hoping people feel and get out of the games when you design them?
What we most want is for games that bring people together, which is why our company is Together Studios, is that it is something that gets people interacting, that gets people laughing or creating stories together. A lot of entertainment in our lives is passive. We watch things, we read things, and what we love about games is it's something we do together.
Oh, cool. So the goal is to create better social relationships.
Just something that causes people to engage, and especially with us, we like things that help people be creative together and come up with stories together.
So the board game designer would be a little bit different than the video game designer, whereas you might play by yourself. Mm-hmm. So board games are more about playing with other people.
It's definitely, there's a different, sort of each type of game is sort of its own little thing. But yes, is definitely RPGs and card and board games. I mean, you have solitaire games, you have journaling games, but most of the games we're making are about people doing them together.
Oh, that's awesome. And what is this is the game you've designed?
So this is one of the games we've designed. This one is called Cool Cool Cool, and it is a slap game like Slapjack or ERS, Slamwich, but with more shouting and with shifting rules. So again, it's all about having a bunch of people around a table going, cool, hot, slay, and slapping cards. So again, it's a very fast, quick game, and it's very casual, but it's that you're hanging out at a restaurant waiting for some food, get a game going, and gets everybody together.
Yeah, and what was your name, sir?
Keith Baker.
I'm Destin. Nice to meet you. And
Together Studios.
Together
is our company.
Studios, and you work with Together Studios?
Yeah, I'm Jen Ellis. I'm
Also designer.
Oh, awesome. Nice to meet you guys. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Yeah, appreciate it. Okay, Good Nerd, Bad Nerd Games.
Yeah.
That's what it's called.
Yeah,
My
that
name's
is.
Destin.
Hey, Destin, I'm Brian.
Brian.
I'm Megan.
Megan, you guys design the games?
We do, yeah.
Okay, so the question is, I've been talking to people over in the video game area. What do you want people to feel when they play a game?
Board gaming for us has always been a time about bringing people together to hang out, just have a good time. But the part of it is that final moment where things look like they're not going to come together, and you pull it off, and you get up, you're high-fiving everyone. It's like this moment of triumph where you snatched defeat away, and you were triumphant. It, like if you're playing Pandemic, when you just happen to pull it out and win, and you avoided the last outbreak, or
I will say our game is a co-op, and we really love co-op games because we like to work together. So, I mean, just working as a team and just being like, yeah, we did it. We won.
So that's kind of the whole deal is just trying to together and build relationships.
Yeah.
That's
so
a big.
It's not as competitive.
Not our first game.
Not our first game. Our second game is a 1v1 game, but still, at the end of the day, we play competitive games at home, and it's about the experience of getting to do things together.
What's your first game called?
Our first game is called The Treasure of Monte Cristo Island. It is, it's a cooperative game for up to 2 to 6 players, and it's.
Although we do have an expansion where you can then play as the thief that you're, going up against.
Oh yeah.
in the first game, and so then one person can take on that role because there's always one person in the game group that doesn't like to co-op. So that's who we have in mind for that.
What's the second game?
The second game, which we're hoping to launch on Kickstarter this fall, is called Pantheon. It's a 1v1 simultaneous deck builder where each player takes on the role of one of Earth's pantheons. At launch, we will have the Aztec and Egyptian pantheons.
Oh, wow.
And unlike a lot of card games where you're battling and you have life points and you're trying to attack each other, this one you aren't attacking each other, you're battling for the favor of your followers to see which will be the dominant pantheon on Earth.
And you guys designed these together?
Yep.
Yes.
So this is it?
This is it.
Did you guys do the art and everything?
So our artist is here.
Yeah.
He's a friend of ours who decided I want in on this, and we're like, yes, please.
Yeah, we were running a beta test, and we thought we were ready to go to Kickstarter, and they came, they were a part of it, and they said, this is great, but I want to help you guys have all original art, so there's no licensing or anything like that. And
Like even down to the shape of our meeples, they
shape
are
of the meeples,
unique
These
to
are called
us.
meeples?
Uh-huh.
Yep.
What's a meeple?
It's basically the character. Some people call
It's like
them
a wooden
wooden,
person.
Is meeple a noun?
I think it is.
It's a noun, yeah.
Okay. So it's not unique to your game.
So I think Carcassonne was the first
With a
game
meeple.
to have a meeple, and where that term was
But
coined.
then we, our illustrator helped us with the shape of our meeples, so it's asymmetrical, kind of a little more edgy to fit with the rest of the style.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. And what are all these little things over here? These are little sweet tarts I used to eat when I was a kid.
So the part of this game is you are traveling around the island and you're gathering resources, and you're going to use these resources to craft different things that are going to help you survive on the island and ultimately find the treasure. And all of the little pieces there are the representation of the different resources.
The resources, yeah.
Yeah, and we have the different shapes, different colors to make it easier for different types of color blindness.
Oh, really?
Which
You
is
didn't think
something
about that.
Yes, so red and green are often confused for colorblind players, and so we made sure that the red was a square and the green was a triangle, so that if you can't distinguish the color, then you can just look at the shape.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So is this your full-time gig, or is this a side gig at this point?
No,
It's a side gig. Yeah, we wish it was a full-time gig, but then those bills would not get paid.
Although every time we come to convention, people are like, "What's new? What's next?" And we're like, "Oh, we have something."
So you have fans.
We finally have something to show them.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too.
Megan and Brian.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, Gordon. So fish game.
Yeah.
Why are you making fish game?
It wasn't super planned, I think. I wanted this game to exist. So I put it out in the world via a tweet that just said, if somebody makes this game, I would throw some money at it. And then Ryan and Aaron like actually messaged me, and we're like, hey, we'd take a crack at that. And so we did. We took a little crack, and then we took a bigger crack, and then I told you about it, and then we took a real big swing after that. But yeah, it has been like, I think we've talked about it a lot, where it's like make the stuff that you want to see, and make the game you want to play. Like I always write the music that I want to listen to. Making something that you want and you will enjoy is a really good way to go, because I'm not a unique snowflake, and if I like something, other people are probably going to like it too. And yeah, it was just something I wanted to exist.
So when Gordon first told me about it, I could tell that it was like in your soul.
Yeah.
And I was like, I would love to help you with this. I really wanted to be called Fish Game.
Yes.
Did you have it?
You said, I'm in. It has to be called Fish Game.
So is it?
Well, we couldn't think of anything better.
Have I made a mistake?
No. Well, when there was a point where we thought we were going to have to change it, so we came up with like lists of dozens and dozens and dozens of names, and none of them were better. That's what it has to be called.
And so what's the website?
Fish.game.
I feel stupid.
I think we also bought Fish.game.
Yeah.
Fish Game the game.
All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. This insider's, well, I guess I was an outsider looking into the insider's world of PAX. I don't know, I found it to be fascinating. I was impressed by how deeply each of these video game designers think about their own story that goes into the game and the game loop and all this stuff. It was fascinating. I learned the term roguelike, I learned all this stuff, and I was very grateful that Gordon invited me up because it was a blast. Anyway, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you would consider playing Fish Game. We put a lot of work into it. The goal is to be a very nurturing game, and it's fun. So if you want to check it out, fish.game. Right now it's on Steam. I think you would enjoy it. If you want to know more about the inside of why we built it, it's Gordon's brainchild. That's on the main channel video, and I would really appreciate that. Anyway, that's it. I'm Destin. Thank you so much for watching. You're getting smarter every day. Have a good one. Bye.